Hello, welcome to my channel once again. The name is Bryce Boateng. If this is your first time of visiting or seeing this video, please subscribe and share, and also hit the notification button to be notified whenever I upload videos. So in this video, we are going to talk about the processes involved in getting reposting or release as a teaching staff or a non-teaching staff of the Ghana Education Service. So we are going to look at what is reposting, the types of reposting, when does reposting of teachers begin, the documents that you need, what constitutes confidential letter and how to get it, bank clearance and how and when to obtain it, the process involved in intra-regional and then also inter-regional release, the tips and gists, and then also any other related issues. Diving into the issue. So reposting of teaching and non-teaching staff of the Ghana Education Service is an annual activity or exercise that the Ghana Education Service uses to repost teachers who willingly or unwillingly want to move out from their station or current workplace to another. So it's either the teacher himself or the non-teaching staff herself. So reposting basically talks about change of school or management unit. So let's look at reposting. Now, what is reposting? Reposting typically means that the teacher or the staff at the Ghana Education Service is changing its management unit from one school to the other, whether within the same district, region, or outside the region in a different district. And so there are two types of release. We have the internal release and then also the external release. So the internal release, we are going to talk about intra-regional release, and then also the external, we'll talk about the inter-regional. Now, we also bear in mind that the inter and then the external can also mean that your district is reposting you internally, or the national headquarters, the GES at the national headquarters is reposting you, or even your region can repost you depending on the situation that you are being reposted. And so it is not only at the will or at the mercy of the teacher that reposting can occur. But in this issue or in this instance, we are going to look at the reposting that is initiated by the teacher or the staff of the Ghana Education Service. And so the next question we are going to answer is, when does reposting of teachers begin? So it is an annual process, and basically it is at the beginning of the third term or at the latter part of the second term that the process begins or the window is opened. So I will reiterate what I said. It's either the latter part of second term or the initial part or the initial weeks in third term. That is when the Ghana Education Service is expected to open the window for internal or external release. And so that is that. So let's look at the documents that are needed if you are going for a release, whether internally or externally. And here we are going to talk about your first appointment letter, all your certificates, your confidential letter, your assurance, your release letter, your application for release letter or assurance letter, your bank clearance, your marriage certificate where necessary, or your doctor's report where necessary, your current pay slip, and maybe any additional documents that they will add to it. And so these are the documents that you need to apply for internal or external transfer or reposting. But bear in mind that if you are seeking for reposting within the same district from one management unit or from one school to the other, then you wouldn't need all these documents except for a letter to your municipal or your district director asking for you to be reposted and giving or stating the reasons why you need to be reposted from your current school to another school within the same district or municipal. Now, we are going to talk about confidential letter, as I mentioned, as part of the document that are needed. So a confidential letter normally is required when you are seeking assurance from a different district in the same region or outside your region. And basically, the purpose of this confidential letter is for the district that you are seeking assurance to know the type of person you are and whether to give you the assurance that you need or not. Probably you have not been good at your work, you have been absenting yourself, you are displaying or exhibiting bad character, you are going about messing around all the places, and you want to go to a different district. That wouldn't happen. And so they check the confidentiality before they even give you the assurance. And so how do you obtain the confidential letter? So you write a letter to your district director seeking for a confidential letter, stating where you need a confidential letter, or the region you are sending the confidential letter to, or the district you are sending the confidential letter to. And so with that, it will be ready, and then you record for it. And mind you that it is a sealed document that you don't need to read. In fact, whatever thing that has been stated inside it, you can't read it, and you shouldn't know. And so it has been stamped and sealed for you to attach to your letter that you are seeking to apply for assurance. You attach it to it. And so once you get your confidential letter, then you also come to your bank clearance and how to get your bank clearance. So your bank clearance is also a letter stating your account details with a specific bank, let's say in this case, Bank E. And the manager of that bank is going to address whoever that is concerned, your account details and your behavior with the bank, whether you are owing the bank, whether you have a loan that you have not finished paying, whether you are not a credible person. And so these are the things that your bank also write, and then you attach it to your confidential letter. Normally, it's supposed to cater for, or it's supposed to be the bank that you are paid on, or you are being paid through. And so if you are being paid to Bank A, then you go to Bank A for a bank clearance, and then you'll be given to the bank clearance that you need. Probably a week or 2 weeks time, it should be ready for you to go for it and attach it to your confidential letter. So how you obtain it is to write a letter, address it to the managing director of the bank, stating why you need a bank clearance, and then within the letter you must add your account details, your branch, the account name, the account number, and whatever information that you must include in it. So let's go to the processes involved in intra-regional transfer or reposting. So if you are seeking reposting within the same region from a different district to another district, then you need a confidential letter from your district, your current district. You also need a bank clearance, and then you attach your application for assurance. So you apply for, you first of all apply for assurance after getting your bank clearance and your confidential letter. Then you apply for assurance in that district that you want to move in. So let's say you are in for Praso or Atimokwa district and want to move to let's say Cape Coast Metropolitan in the central region, then you must send your assurance letter to the municipal director of Cape Coast, asking or pleading that he or she grants you the assurance so that you'll be given a school when you are released from your current district. And within 2 weeks or 3 weeks time, you are supposed to get the assurance letter, and the cover letter should be from the regional. So when you send your application for assurance to the district, maybe the Cape Coast district or the Cape Coast Municipal Education Office, they will also forward it to the regional office that is at Cape Coast, where the regional director will also give the green light for the municipal to, or the Cape Coast municipal to offer you the assurance. And so they in turn will put the letter on their letterhead as Cape Coast, the Ghana Education Service regional headquarters. So that is how the letter is going to be. And so within 2 to 3 weeks, you are supposed to have your assurance letter. Now, once you get your assurance letter, then you write a letter for release, and then you attach all documents supporting why you need the release to your current district. And so if everything goes on well, a week or 2 weeks time, then they will ask you to attach some documents, or if the documents that you attached earlier are still valid, then they will come and tell you that you come for your release letter and send it to the regional, because it is the regional director that is going to release you ultimately. And so once you send it to the regional director or the regional education office, it should take 2 to 3 weeks for you to receive your letter. That is when the window is closed or supposed to be closed for reposting. And so this is that for intra-regional reposting. Now let's go to the inter-regional reposting. For the inter, you still write a letter for assurance to the district that you want or the municipal that you want in a different district. So from Praso district to Jabin in the Ashanti region, then you write a letter for assurance to the Jabin municipal, adding your confidential letter, adding your bank clearance. So once you apply and you attach all the documents, your payslip, your current payslip, your certificate, your appointment letter, any other thing that you think is possible or is convincible, you attach it to the letter and send it to the Jabin municipal. By 2 to 3 weeks, Jabin municipal is supposed to issue an assurance letter to you if they deem that you qualify to be given an assurance. So that one too, the letterhead should be the GES Ashanti region. GES Ashanti region should be the letterhead indicating that you have been given an assurance letter. So once you get assurance letter, you run copies and attach it to your release letter and submit to your current district for release. And so your current districts, if your reasons are convincing, then they will also call you that you have been granted a release. Bring this and that document so that 2 days or 3 days later, you will send it to the regional office, that is Cape Coast, or the Central Regional Office. So in turn, the Regional Education Office will also give you the release. Then you attach the release. They will also forward your release to the national headquarters, that is Accra, where the Director General will also approve of your release or not. And so once within 2 or 3, maximum of 4 weeks, you are supposed to hear from the national that you have been granted your release. So they will give you a letter, the letter from the national and also the letter from the regional. You run copies and send it back to regional headquarters of the Ghana Education Service. So instead of you to send it to Jaben, you are supposed to send it to the regional education office of the Ghana Education Service. So you run copies and then you send one to the regional. You also send one to the municipal. Most often, the municipal is really not necessary until you send it to the regional. So once you send it to the regional, they will also process it and ask you to come for your reposting letter. That is your release and reposting letter. So once you are given the release and reposting letter, you bring it back to the Jabe municipal, where the school that was stated in your assurance will be. They will also issue a letter to you that you have been reposted to this school that was stated in your reposting letter or your assurance letter. So mind you that here you can manipulate to change the school. The district can or the municipal can change your school for you. And so this is how the process is. And so let's go to the tips and just that you need to know. In the first place, before you qualify for release, whether inter or intra, then you need a minimum of 3 years in a remote area or 4 years in the city. That is convincingly, you need minimum of 3 years in the rural, maximum of 4 years in the city. So unless in critical conditions that you'll be given the release, other than that, the year that you qualify, normally people say in the rural is 2 years and in the urban is 3 years. But for you to be convinced that you are going to get it, then you can spend 3 years in the rural area or 4 years in the urban, and then you qualify for reposting. So another tip I will give you is that start working on your confidential letter and your bank clearance, because without these two, you can't apply for assurance in any district, whether in the same region or outside. And also, don't go and throw the letter to them and come and stay hoping that you'll be called. You need to follow up anytime you feel like following up. You have to go to the office and follow up and see if things are going on well. And don't forget that in Ghana, at the offices, there are terms and conditions. So when you go and they give you the terms, try and cooperate. Other than that, you will still be stuck at your old management units. The name, once again, is Bryce Boateng, and thanks for being with me. See you in the next video. Bye.